And so it begins.
So it begins. The first one.
Episode 1. Motivate you.
Get this started here.
Rock this thing out. Here, the bottom line is this show is designed to help advisors, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs level up, take their business to that next level, become more and more successful, and find those easy ways to do it.
This is true. We are here to help you. We want to be able to answer any questions. We're going to kind of hit on the main topics that we hear from our advisors as well as advisors across the country. So welcome to Motivate You. My name is Cassie Autafaro, Vice President here of Motivate Advisors and Motivate Investments.
And I'm Michael Terrio, President and Founder of Motivate Advisors, Motivate Investments. It's a great day to get this thing started. Episode 1. This is our first episode of the podcast. I'm kind of excited.
It is. Happy Friday. Looking forward to the holidays. Hope everyone else is as well, although it's going to be a little different this year.
Are you nervous about the podcast?
I love doing this. I love helping people. I love helping advisors help their clients. That is the goal of this. So if we can accomplish it, we're winning.
So you're not saying that you love being on a camera and talking to random people that you don't really know out of nowhere.
Of course I do.
That's
it's
laying it on thick.
Favorite thing ever.
It's nice and facetious. I like that. But you know what? The reality of it is there are a lot of really, really simple things that we can do to help people overcome some of their frustrations with the business. I mean, let's be honest. 2020 has been one hell of a year. It's been tough.
Yeah, all the way around. I mean, frustrating, complicated, a little bit scary. I really enjoyed finding the excitement in it.
Yeah, I mean, we always say one of our core values that stress gives you the opportunity to grow.
Yes.
And stress can give you the opportunity to take the time and step back and say, hey, what's not working? What can I do to really take my business to that next level and do the things that I've been wanting to do, but I didn't have the time before.
Right.
And then it's also just one of those really important things to realize. Evolution is absolutely key and it's mandatory. It is not an option.
No. And I think one of the things that this has taught us is it's forced us to be creative and really step out of our comfort zone, step out of the box that we know, try different things. Exactly like everybody had to hop on webinars. You had to start doing virtual appointments. And I don't see that going away. I actually see it as an enhancement to our business and our advisors' businesses. Clients love it. If they don't have to get dressed and drive in the car and they can take care of business, they're all about it. So why not add that value?
That has been a kind of an interesting thing that I've seen is a lot of my clients are preferring to have our anniversary appointments through Zoom or Skype or whatever you're utilizing, Teams. There's so many different areas and technology things that you could utilize to help you do that. And they're enjoying it. They're enjoying the freedom of that. And a lot of advisors are as well. You can wear the old business mullet if you want. You can be business and looking good on top, and you can be casual on the bottom. And it works out pretty slick. But
as long as you're wearing pants, don't be one of those people that get up and walk by and everyone sees it.
Lord knows everyone's got a story. Everyone's got that story. But it comes down to pivoting. When you look at any business professional, it comes down to pivoting. The last time I saw something that changed the industry this much was 2007, 2008, when I saw a single industry absolutely crumble, and that was the mortgage industry.
Yes.
And we saw the mortgage industry crumbled, and then there was two different things that came from it. For most, mortgage brokers in that time period was you either sank or you were able to swim.
Yep, and we're seeing the same thing now as well.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, what I'm concerned about for most advisors, and you are as well, is the advisors who are doing nothing. During this pandemic, and we talk about this all the time, especially when it comes down to marketing, you can't stop.
Right.
I mean, if you stop marketing, you're going to stop any type of action, and action creates that business and creates that excitement, that revenue, the momentum that we talk about all the time. But the hard thing for me was when I look at companies like Nike, and I look at large institutional companies, Coca-Cola, big ones that we all know, incredible amounts of brand recognition, name recognition, and they're still marketing.
Yeah, they're not cutting their funds at all. And even talking to your current prospects, I feel like a bird repeating this a million times to our advisors, but if they are not talking to their clients, I guarantee someone else is. And that's a dangerous thing for those people, like you said, that kind of, hid, stuck their head in the sand, just waited until this was over. Not only missing out on opportunities to meet new people and really help them, but if you're not talking to your clients, again, someone else is.
Well, and if you don't believe Cassie, feel free to go to Google Trends.
Yeah.
Look up Google Trends right now. and search retirement, the keyword for retirement, and you'll see that there was a 2,200% increase of consumers searching for a retirement planner near them. Right? So they go in, type in retirement, because I want you to see this. This is legit, advisors. Go out there, type in retirement, and you'll see that the top searches would be retirement planners near me.
Yeah. Well, go to Google Trends first. Just do Google Trends and it'll pop up. And then after that, check out different stuff. We actually have our advisors use this resource a lot to discuss content. What are people concerned about? The best way to figure that out is, what are they searching?
Yeah, and when you look at this, keep in mind that if there's a 2,200% boost in people looking for you, but you're not marketing, how are they going to find you? I mean, you're not Coca-Cola more than likely. You're not Nike. You're not Reebok. You're not some of these huge companies that have brand recognition. They're still marketing. You're more than likely a smaller firm that has 3 or 4 people on your team, maybe a little bit bigger firm, but you're an entrepreneur, and you're the backbone of this economy. We know this. I'm an entrepreneur myself. But if people don't know who you are and what you do, they're going to completely miss you. They're not going to find you. If your marketing's not up to par where your SEO is lacking, they're not going to find you. They're going to find someone else.
Right. The other people. And you're always going to see ads and Edward Jones and your really big firms, they're going to come up first. But I'm going to guesstimate the majority of people are looking for that person who has their own business, maybe is in their area or service people around their area. They want to have someone that they can have a relationship with. So don't stress out if you Google yourself and there's some ads ahead of you. That's no big deal. But you do want to be showing up on the first page or second page. I kind of, give everyone this challenge. Go ahead and Google something, or think about how often, when you're looking for something, how often do you go to the third or fourth page? I barely ever do. So when we're talking about marketing and SEO, that's really how you get on that first
You're talking about
pages.
the third or fourth page of Google when you're doing Google searches.
Right,
yeah. So you're right. Most people don't even get halfway down the first page.
Right.
I mean, that's fair, right? I mean, so, it's time to evolve. It's time to take your practices to the next level. And the big thing is, you can decide what you want to do. Do you want to try to wait this pandemic out? Or do you want to be proactive and take advantage of a situation like this? So these are big conversations that I think are important to figure out. How do you pivot? How do you kind of go about that? And I think that's, Cassie, where a lot of advisors are struggling right now.
Of course.
Is how to do it. But a lot of it also comes down to work.
Yeah, you have to be able to grind. There's no silver bullet in success. If someone's pitching that to you, you're going to pay a lot of money for it, and you're basing it on hope.
See, I'm going to disagree with you.
Yeah?
I think there's a silver bullet.
Okay.
But I don't think it's a marketing program.
What's the silver bullet?
My father used to always say to me that the harder you work, the luckier you get. Right? And so for me, it's a grind. It's a matter of understanding the grind that goes on with it. And what has made our firm successful, and what we've seen from the difference from a lot of other firms, especially this year, we have advisors that we work with who are having their best year.
They are.
Ever. And what's the common characteristic? It's the grind.
Grinding. Yeah. I'd go along with that. If we're talking silver bullet, work initiative, grinding it out, that's a necessity to have within it. And it has to be in a bunch of different ways too. Long gone are the days, where someone's just going to hand a lead in your lap that all you have to do is get them on the phone, get them in your office, and close them. There are things that can do that if you're established, if it's referrals. Yes, those things work, but that can't be the only thing that you're doing.
So let's flip this around a little bit.
Okay.
And let's look at the pandemic as a positive.
Okay.
So what are some of the positive things that we've seen come out of this? And I'll start, and then I'll let you give you some time to think about where you want to go. I think it's incredibly powerful to open up different revenue streams for your company.
Most definitely.
Right? So rather than being a one-trick pony salesperson, now you have the ability to create many more revenue streams. You already can utilize the existing relationships that you have, and the ROI can be unbelievable because of the fact that you're not constantly out there having to remarket to people you've never met. You have a built-in audience. Your turn.
It's true.
You go.
Don't put me on the spot at all.
I think I just nailed that one.
Part of it. No, that's definitely true. So taking the time maybe to learn a few different things. Everyone had, whether you were quarantined or not, a lot of people had time on their hands. What did you do with that? Did you use it effectively? Did you learn a different product? Did you learn, a different concept that you can introduce to those people and really benefit from them? And then also utilizing different technology too.
Did you just do 2 in a row?
No, I just kind of agreed with
2 in
and
a row.
added to yours.
That wasn't very cool. I'll piggyback off of yours then after this.
Well, you got to let me finish first. Sorry, guys. But using technology. Everybody's been forced to, and I kind of mentioned it before, clients are more comfortable with it. People are doing more online searches. People are open to doing things like webinars. So taking what we've been forced to do and what we've forced to be learned, implementing that and taking it a few steps further and then keeping it consistently within your practice and your marketing.
So let's look at the positive aspect of that. So
Okay.
what I look at from a technology standpoint, what I think is awesome is the world's your playground at this point.
This is true.
You're not, when we look at traditional marketing, when I first got in this industry, the traditional marketing was a 30-mile radius around your office. And that's where you stuck. Yeah, you were stuck there. You stood ground and said, hey, 30-mile radius around my restaurant or my office.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to live and die by that. You are now in a world where you're not held back by any limitations.
No, even carriers are on board.
Yeah.
They're changing the different ways that they're doing underwriting based off of age or premium, how we're able to sign applications. Everything doesn't have to be strictly a wet signature anymore. And these things aren't going away. They see that everyone is able to do business faster. It processes. Everyone gets paid faster. So luckily, they've jumped on board.
So here's my thing, and I'll put this out there, is I think it comes down to a decision. I think everyone that's listening to this show right now has to make a decision of what you want your business, your livelihood, your family life, all those things to look like, and then make the decision to actually achieve it. Right?
Sure.
It's really interesting because I just finished a program, an exercise program, and posted my results online. And the guy who designed it wrote or sent me a video, and he was, praising me, and he was telling me all these different things, and, thanked me for my hard work and for my trust in his process and all the different things that happened. And everything that he told me was going to come to fruition has come to fruition within the realm of possibility with me following the program as much as I could. I'd say I probably was about 80% of the following the program. Kind of looking back now, I wish I would have done 100% because the time is over. But the reality of it is the results were there. The results have been proven. And he thanked me. And then what he also said was, what are you going to do to celebrate? So what do you do now to celebrate? Because what happens oftentimes is people hit that level and they hit what we call the ceiling of complexity, and they don't know which direction they can go to create the next new thing. They're so stuck in that rut. And if you look at it, if you know anything about working out muscle training, eventually, if you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over, you're going to hit a certain level of fatigue.
Right.
It's the same thing within your business. You need to consistently always look at ways to reevaluate your business. So I think a decision needs to be made. And remember, no decision is still a decision, right? So a decision needs to be made as far as who do I align myself with? What are the ultimate goals that I want? And then how do I get there? And what's amazing to me is when we talk to advisors, a lot of times they say, yes, I want to be more successful. I want to make X number of dollars, whether it be 500,000 or a million, whatever it's going to be. But there's absolutely no plan on how to get there.
Yeah. And we run into that so much just when we're talking to advisors outside of our organization. Everybody dreams big, which is amazing.
But how do you get there if you have no plan?
Right.
If you haven't made the
step
decision,
that's
if you
missing.
if you don't know what to do,
Yeah.
which is what you specialize in a lot of times. I mean, it's amazing to me when an advisor contacts Cassie and says, hey, I want to hit these numbers. She's able to go through a process with them that we've designed that basically breaks down what you need to be doing on a daily basis to hit those numbers.
Sure. It reverse engineers. If this is the number that you want, this is how many appointments you need to have. This is your average net worth that needs to be within there. Sure. And then the always glaring two big questions is what marketing do I need to do to get there, and how much money is it going to cost me? And I guess the third and most important is how much money am I going to make?
And I'll throw one out there. What's your close ratio? Right. So the efficiency that comes along with it. So one thing that we've looked at, especially with our most successful advisors this year that have really taken this business to the next level, that I've been very impressed with, has been the efficiency factor. So one common characteristic that we've seen across the board is that whenever we talk to advisors, they tell us the number one issue is what? I don't have to tell you. I can just ask you, what's the number one issue that they want to feel like they're going to be more successful?
Getting in front of people.
Getting
Marketing.
in front of more people.
Yep.
Okay.
Always.
And oftentimes after Cassie's done having the conversation with them, it's quickly realized that it's not about necessarily getting in front of more people. It's about learning how to close the people that you're in front of and learning how to close them properly. So we talked earlier about revenue streams and multiple revenue streams. That's a big way that you can look at that type of efficiency. So when we discuss things with people, that's where we look at the efficiency in a time period like this is going to be very crucial. It's not necessarily dropping, extra crazy amounts of money to be able to get to the next level. It's about being efficient and strategic with it.
Right. Well, and we talk about our 4 C's as well, which can be implemented.
The 4 C's.
Should we make a 4 C song? I'm not singing.
You first.
No.
I'm out.
4 C's. Throwing gang signs. Nice. Anyways, so we talk about the 4 C's, and we kind of discussed it on our first, trial run podcast, which was Catalyst. A lot of people do these. These are getting in front of people quickly, most efficiently. A lot of times they are expensive, but they're missing, I think, the most important C, and that's cultivation. So working with what you currently have, advisors who were doing mail in the past, they've advertised to thousands of people and it's cost thousands and thousands of dollars, and they market to that person once and never do anything else with it. And this just kind of blows my mind.
It's the market handcuffs. It's basically, how many people do you talk to on a weekly basis that don't have a database?
An astounding amount, which is a little scary.
Yeah, when you think about the millions of dollars that people spend every single year on direct mail, Facebook advertising, LinkedIn advertising, whatever you're using right now, and to not have a system to follow up with them is unbelievable to me. Really, it is. It's absolutely crazy to me. And those are the handcuffs that keeps you on the bandwagon of spending crazy amounts of money every single month.
Right.
Just to get butts of the seats.
Yeah. And not utilizing things like technology, just follow up. Whether you have a team or not, there's so many different ways. And when we go back to different marketing initiatives, it's not about just hammering phones anymore. You can get in front of people of multiple ways. And that's perfect because everyone likes something different. So for our podcast here, we're going to have a video. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on Spotify. We're going to put it on the website because people like to watch different things. Some people like to read, some people like to watch, some people like to listen. And all of that technology is at our fingertips now, and it's incredibly cost effective. So if you're really limiting yourself by just making a phone call or just doing an email, you're selling yourself short.
I'd be happy to see some of those people doing that alone, even that alone. Step by step. Because what's happening right now is with the technology changing so quickly, if you're with a larger institution or a larger FMO, you might be feeling like you're getting a little swallowed up.
Yeah.
And you might not be getting that help that you're looking for. And we hear that all the time is, I'm not quite sure what to do, but I can't get a phone call back.
Yeah.
And so I don't even know where to start. And so, this is why we started this podcast, was just to try to reach as many people as we possibly could, just to let you know that there are ways to become successful. There are ways to take your business to the next level. There are ways that if you're happy, but you're looking for more free time, there's just a lot of different ways you can kind of go about that. And I think freedom means different things to different people. You and I experienced that with our advisors on that call one day.
Yeah, most definitely. That was interesting. So we actually, we do a mastermind call with all of our advisors on Tuesdays. It's just kind of a Brady Bunch. We want everyone to get together, know that they have a support system, share ideas,
We
struggles.
Don't sing the Brady Bunch. It's a Zoom call.
Yeah, so you have the little Brady Bunch.
You gotta realize
boxes.
people don't always know what the heck you're talking about.
I know. I just ramble. But we asked people we wrote the word freedom on the board and we asked people, what does this mean to you? And the results were really interesting. What did we have? 2 people?
Yeah, we asked everyone to give us 5 things that freedom meant to them. And out of the whole group, I think we had 30 people on the call, something like that.
Probably.
There was 2 people that had one word that overlapped.
Yeah. And that was it.
Yeah. I look at some of my best years, and some of my best years, what I enjoyed the most was the freedom that I had to do other things other than work. Right. I closed an incredible amount of business and brought on an incredible amount of new clients and did it 2 to 3 days worth of work per week. And the rest of the time I was doing things that made me happy.
Yeah.
that allowed me to smile more often and to feel like I had that balance. That was a big deal for me. For some people, freedom is $2 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, freedom is, 100 days off a year, right? On top of weekends and everything. But for some people, freedom is a balance. For some people, it's a vacation once a month. For some people, it's $200,000 a year, but they don't have to get to work till 10 o'clock. Everyone has their different opinion of what freedom is. And then you throw in there the transition between rewiring versus retiring, especially because our industry as a whole is much older than most industries.
Right.
We're seeing people kind of hit those different things. And so, I think it's important to understand what's going to be important to you, what freedom means to you, what wealth means to you. Everyone has their different opinion. And I know that you and I were both pretty blown away by those numbers.
Yeah, it was. Well, and I mean, the majority of advisors, they maybe started in a captive state. And we kind of talk about this often. They were taught how to be a salesperson. They got really good about it. They saw that they were missing out on a large part of their revenue because they were captive. So they said, you know what? I can do this by myself.
Right.
And they decided to go independent, which is amazing. But I don't think sometimes they took the time to say, who am I as a business owner? They said, I'm going to sell insurance, I'm going to do securities, but there's so much more to it. What is your value add? What are your beliefs based on? Who do you want to take care of? And then you have to build each bit of your business based off of those things.
And that transition from a salesperson to a business owner is not an easy one.
No.
There's not
Especially
a lot
when you're doing it alone.
Yeah, I talked to a client this morning who was a very successful entrepreneur. No college degree for he or his wife, and they're making $700,000 plus a year. They're incredible, and he said there's no one ever taught him that. He just learned it as time went on, and he made expensive mistakes and he made expensive decisions. And for a lot of advisors, you're 100% right. They came in, they were great salespeople, but they didn't understand the actual numbers and mathematics behind the business aspect and what it took to run. And what's exciting about that, though, Cassie, is you can make your business whatever you want it to be.
At any time, it's your business.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if you've been in it for a year, 5 years, 10 years. You own it, you control it, you can transition it.
And maybe the pandemic's a perfect time to have that deal. Maybe we call it the pandemic pause.
Oh, that was pretty quick. Wah, wah, wah.
No, people are happy with my pandemic pause. That's a happy button.
That was quick.
I think pandemic pause.
Don't worry, guys. I'm going to take them away from the switchboard.
I've got plenty of sound effects where that came from. So when we talk about the pandemic pause. For real though, it's a good time to sit back and say, what do I want this to be? For many of you that don't know me, probably the majority of you listening to this podcast.
This is like our first one.
Yeah. I had a very scary health issue back in 2012 that it almost took me out. And I'll tell you right now, when something like that happens, it definitely changes your perception as far as what's important and what's not. It definitely changes your perception of what freedom is and what freedom isn't, and how you want to structure your business and who you want to spend time with. Have you ever looked at your calendar and seen someone that you were like, dang, I don't want to meet with them?
You just kind of have that internal ugh.
Is that how you feel when you see me walk in the office?
Depends on the day.
That felt like it came out pretty easily for you. That you can relate.
I, luckily, for the majority of the time, never make that sound on my calendar because I love our advisors.
Yeah, it's just you don't see my name on there. That's just good. No, but it's true. There's clients out there that we all have that we're all like, oh man, I don't want to see them today, or they drain me, or they're exhausting, they're jerks. Whatever it is, they're needy.
They're never happy.
You control that. See, I think that maybe that should be the theme of this show. I know we're 24 minutes into the show already.
To come out with our theme?
Maybe it's control. Maybe it's a situation of you can control your outcome. You have the power to control your outcome. If you partner up and make a decision to have these things come to fruition, then you're going to partner up with the right group. You control the amount of knowledge that you have and education that you give yourself. You control who you work with. You control what you allow and what you don't allow. How many times have we talked about with my own personal practice, the box?
Right.
And every time we get out of that box, what happens?
Oh, it never works. And when we're talking about the box, a lot of people, they set what is their service, what are their stipulations, what are they willing to do, what is their price point. Yeah, and 100%, we know our box, and every single time we step out of it thinking that maybe this one's different. We're going to give this one a try. It might work out. 99.9% of the time, it does not work. So
It really doesn't work. It's a train wreck.
it usually is, and
It's
it causes
worse than
a
just
lot
not
more
working.
strife than what we do and how we help people.
There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, you can't be all things to all people. I just wrote a blog for a friend of mine in her website this last week, and I talked a lot about that as you have a value, Mr. and Mrs. Advisor, listen to this show. You have a value out there, and you need to be darn well aware of it and confident within it, because if you're not, no one else will be.
And believe in it too.
So you control this, right? And you don't have to work with people that don't fit within your box, right? It doesn't mean you're limiting. It doesn't mean, I know we're all taught through our whole life to think outside the box, and that's fine as far as maybe from a marketing standpoint,
Sure.
right? But oftentimes when you're thinking outside the box, you're more than likely trying something completely new that no one else has tried before, and more than likely there's a higher level of risk than what you're used to.
Or you're trying to stick a round peg in a square hole. And
like
that
that
doesn't
one.
work out well for you either.
No, wow, that was good.
That was good. Give me some. No, that's birds.
Oh, that was more crickets, I think. Is it crickets or birds?
I don't know.
Round peg in a square
In a
hole.
square hole. Yeah, and everyone's tried to do it before. And most of the time, I think it comes out of, this is extreme, so maybe it's not the right word, but desperation. You need that one sale. You need to get something moving. You have to try this new initiative because nothing else is working. And when you're desperate for something, I think that it kind of puts everything with a negative connotation. And most of the time, it doesn't work out
And
for you.
your clients can smell it a mile away.
Yes.
If you're desperate, your clients know. A good buddy of mine in college wrote a song one time, and one of his lines in there, one of my favorite lines was "Desperation is ugly," and it's true. I mean, your clients can tell if you're in bad shape or not. And so, one thing that we've always said before, and I think it's important to ask is, when you're going to create your process, when you're going to create your dream business, and decide what that looks like, the question I want to ask every one of you is, would you hire yourself?
Mm-hmm. Would you work with yourself as well?
Yeah, I mean, one of my good friends always says that, every now and then he'll just look in the mirror, and it's harder than you think. But you look in the mirror and you look yourself in the eyes and you determine, are you doing what you should be doing? Are you living the life that you should be living? And it's from the adventure side, from the ethical, moral side, whatever that is, look at yourself and be honest. If you would not hire yourself right now, you can make that change. You control that.
Mm-hmm.
You can make that decision to change that. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you have a good group of clients, your clients want nothing more than to evolve with you.
Right.
They want to see
successful,
you.
see you
they,
grow.
They get
Yeah,
excited
of
about
course.
that. They love that stuff. So, would you hire you right now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you wouldn't hire you right now, then let's do something about that. Let's change that.
Yeah.
And we can help guide you through that if you want to. If you want to give us a shout at 877-8-MOTIVATE, right?
877-766-8488 for those of you that,
So is it 877-7-MOTIVATE?
Yes, technically.
No.
Yes.
Can it really be?
Yes.
Give that number again because I can't remember it.
877-766-8488.
I'm a financial advisor. I'm not good at numbers.
That's not what you're supposed to say at all.
No, but it's, and I think when you are looking at making the change, and if you're really going to do it, when I said earlier, surround yourself with right people, you got to surround yourself with people who've done it.
Yes, 100%.
I see so many firms, and I'm telling you right now, folks, and this is just my opinion, take it for what it's at, but I think that the FMO world is jacked up right now. I think the FMO world is in bad shape right now, and I think it needs to be addressed because there's so many people out there right now that are giving you advice, and they have no basis for it whatsoever. They've never done it. They've never been in the trenches. They've never been in the grind, yet they're telling you how to spend your hard-earned money and what your business philosophy should look like. Give me a break, man. That's like having an out-of-shape personal trainer.
Right.
I'm not taking their
A
word
fat
for it.
dietitian or an overweight dietitian. Sorry, I didn't mean that offensively.
You went big on that one.
I know,
That was-
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I sometimes don't have a filter, guys. It happens.
It does happen. But yeah, we'll address that in just a little bit. But anyway, that's what it all comes down to, is making sure that you're working with the right people. So when we come back from our break, we're going to take a short little break here. When we come back, let's start talking and diving into those 4 C's, because if we're looking at the control, we're looking at all those different things that people can start doing within their business. I think it's important to start Catalyst, cultivate, closing, and always consistency.
Yeah, I
Those are the
really
big ones.
understand what they are and how they affect your business. I think that's good.
First half of episode 1 is in the books. This is good. I like this. This is kind of fun. I appreciate you being on with me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, guys.
And thank you all for listening. And when we come back, we'll start talking about the 4 C's, the importance of the 4 C's. Also, feel free to check us out at www.motivateadvisors.com, MOTIV, the number 8 advisors.com. We'll be back in just a little bit.
Thanks, guys.
And we're back.
Welcome, welcome.
Segment number 2.
All right, now let's kind of get into the meat and potatoes, the Thanksgiving side.
I do like food. That is yummy. You ready to rock and roll?
I am ready. Let's do this.
I think we should dive into the 4 C's.
Yes. Yeah, we talk about it a lot. We go through it a lot with our advisors. It's really an all-encompassing strategy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a business
Model.
strategy. It's a great business strategy to make sure that you keep things going the way you want them to go. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And I think most of us probably feel this in our gut as far as a way that we should be doing our business. We just don't really know how to approach it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's because, going back to what I mentioned earlier, I think the industry's broken, right? And the industry really focuses on 1 C and 1 C only. And so when you only focus on 1 C, and there's 3 other ones that are extremely important, it's just not going to work out the way you want it to work out. And what I mean by that is most people are focusing on the catalyst,
Yes.
right? And we'll kind of go through this in a little bit of detail, but the catalyst is what this industry is focused on right now. It's what they've been focused on since I started.
Mm-hmm.
It is a quick fix, kind of a Band-Aid approach, if you will. It feels good because it doesn't take a tremendous amount of effort, doesn't take a tremendous amount of thoughts and strategy. It's just kind of pay to play.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's a necessity. So as we get into this, I don't want anyone to think that we don't believe in catalyst strategies. All of these things that we're going to go through, the 4 C's, they have to work in combination and tandem with each other. So you absolutely need a catalyst. What happens is people get stuck in that one. That's what they're marketed to constantly. That's what they're pitched constantly. And you're right. You do see results from it.
Well, it's
but they're
fast.
expensive and they're short-lived.
Yeah, it's
Right.
fast. It's quick. It's like take the Fast and the Furious. You throw a little nitrous in your booster in your car, and
You're getting there.
you're flying. But it's only going to be short lived. And if you do too much, you do what? You blow up.
Right.
So And that's where we see people go bankrupt. I mean, I've talked to several advisors that are working with FMOs that are like, look, you're doing a direct mail seminar 2 times per week, every single week of the year, and that's what you're going to do. And it's not addressing one of the biggest situations and issues is what if they're not good at seminars, right? So you could literally be adding too much fuel, too much catalyst to the situation and bankrupt them.
Right.
That can be
and
an
they're
issue.
not going to see the results from it. And I mean, when you're looking at marketing, there's no one size fits all. I think that's really, really important for advisors to realize. Simple. If you're not good at presentations, don't do them. If your area is tough for it, Arizona, Florida, those are very, very saturated areas. And if you're not doing something that's making yourself stand out, or you're kind of doing the run-of-the-mill stuff, you're not going to see the results that you want. So it has to be really specific to who you are as an advisor, who are you talking to, what are you comfortable with. All these things come into play when you're talking specifically about your marketing.
Sure, and knowing that market. I mean, there's going to be a different market in Florida than there is going to be in Nebraska. There's different needs in Texas. We'd have one of our advisors down in Texas that, his clients are completely different than my clients.
Oh, yeah.
Most of my clients are New York transplants that have come down to Florida to live in the sun and get rid of, state income taxes, where he deals with mostly ranchers, dairy farmers, cattle farmers. And it's just a totally different need.
Yeah.
Totally different type of approach. So the cookie cutter way that we see most organizations do it right now is tough. So Catalyst is important though. And I don't want anyone to think, here's what's great about Catalyst. Let's really explain it.
Yeah.
It's immediate, right? It's the way that you can start getting people into your office to learn more about what you do and how you're able to do it within a quick period of time. Okay. That's one of the best part of seminars could be a great example. A webinar could be a great example of people that you have a cold list with.
Right.
There's also these things with warmer lists, which we'll get into later, but these are cold list people you've never met. It's basically the play-to-play type of scenario. The Catalyst are pretty immediate in nature.
Appointment setters, if they're successful, that can be a Catalyst strategy.
Sure. There's a lot of them out there. Sometimes television commercials could be. You could also argue that they're cultivation too, but it all depends upon how quickly you're able to see results would be Catalyst. Usually Catalysts are going to be a little more expensive in nature.
Most definitely.
So your ROI on a Catalyst program is going to be lower, more than likely, than that of a referral.
I would say in the immediate future, as we go through, you're going to see ways how to take those Catalyst leads and really actually increase your ROI.
Yeah, but now you're going on chapter 2. We're not there. We only have so much time. You're jumping ahead.
Jumped the gun.
But she's right. Here's a good example. And this is when I first met Cassie. She came on board to help me with my marketing. And she immediately saw inefficiencies. For years, I utilized the Catalyst as my only marketing form. And I was successful with it, guys and gals. I was making a ton of money. It's not an issue, but it was the constant aspect of having to, constantly add fuel to the fire
and the
to
cost.
keep this thing going. We looked over it, and what we realized was I was doing about 20,000 pieces a month, sometimes 30,000 pieces a month in direct mail. You guys can do the math on that. But I was spending anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000 a month on marketing when you factor in the food and all these different things. And when you think about it, what do most marketing companies tell us? Well, you're happy with a 1% response, right? And then you can justify and say, well, I'm going to keep marketing to the same people because there's 99% left.
Right.
That
and you
didn't
close
come.
business from the 1%, I'm sure.
And the good news with our business is there's enough ROI in the business to be able to justify it, right? As long as you can close. However, over time, I realized I had this gigantic list of people, even if it was the 1% or 2%, I had a huge list of people over roughly a decade that showed some sort of interest in me, my firm, our message, and what we were trying to accomplish for people. They just didn't come to that event. Right. We all know that when you have a seminar, there's 3 types of people. The ones you show and book, the ones you show and don't book, and the no-shows. That's the 3 that show up.
Simple, straightforward.
What we don't know is why the ones that came didn't book, and what the ones that didn't show up, why they didn't show up. We don't know those things. And then we just go out and spend more money marketing to them again.
Yeah, the average person is just going to drop more mail to the exact same person, hoping, hey, maybe they'll come to this one, even though they already have a phone number, an email, a first name, a last name, and somewhat of an introduction. So yeah, the philosophy is just keep mailing. Eventually they're going to show up.
And again, I'm not against mail.
No.
What we want you to start thinking about, though, is how to repurpose and how to retarget.
Yep.
Okay, that's going to be a really important word, is going to be the retarget. And Cassie alluded to it a little bit before. But what she was able to show me when she came on board was there's nothing wrong with what you've done. You've created an incredible database. Databases are worth money.
They are.
There's a tremendous amount of opportunity in every database, whether you think there is or not. You just have to know how to use it. And what we are able to start doing is utilizing the next step within the marketing aspect, which is called cultivation. And she was able to show me a stubborn, set in my ways, I've been making money, you're not going to tell me how to do this type of advisor.
You said it, not me.
I know, I can admit when I was wrong. And she showed me how to utilize a cultivation strategy, several different cultivation strategies, which in turn, I made up for all these monies that I thought I wasn't ever going to get access to. I met more of these former prospects than you could ever imagine by utilizing the strategies that we have with the cultivation.
And 6 years later, we're still seeing results from it. So, you've been in the business for a decade.
15 years.
Yeah, plus. And we're still utilizing that information that we gathered years and years ago, and appointments and business is being generated from it.
Well, we've called it the 67% opportunity.
Yes.
Since we started Motivate, which we haven't really alluded to that for a long time, but one of our first programs that we were discussing with advisors, which really helped them build their practices quickly, was a 67% opportunity, because that's really kind of what it breaks down to. 67% of the people who sign up for your webinar or your seminar never show.
Right.
But that doesn't mean there's not opportunity.
No, it's never dead. That lead is never dead.
Absolutely.
Well,
Well, and I'll give you a good example. We did a series of seminars at a really nice restaurant on the water in Florida. And every night we sold that place out, remember?
Yeah, it was jammed. There wasn't even walking room.
Yeah.
Great results.
It was hotter than Hades in there too, because they couldn't keep the air conditioner down. But we would have these rooms and they were filled, and you guys know what I'm talking about. It looked good.
Yeah,
the people looked like they had quality.
Feel good.
Yeah, the room's full, the energy's there. There was a lot of successful looking people there. And I had 30, 35 people there every night, and I couldn't book an appointment to save my life. We were walking out with 1, 2, sometimes 3 appointments. And
which never happened previously.
No, I was an 80, 90% guy.
Phenomenon that came from, we figured out. But
yeah, I mean, I was an 80, 90% guy that would get appointments all the time at Outback Steakhouse, all those different places. And now we're in a higher end place, and we're getting higher end people, and no one's booking. And so when we would drive home, we would get on the phone and talk, and I would say, what can we do? What can we do? And after about 4 of them.
Yeah, I'd say probably. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking probably almost 20 grand.
Right.
I said, Cass, let's do this. Tomorrow, let's call every person that was at these, in the seminar, and let's ask them some simple questions. Number 1, how was the food? Right? How was this place? How was the food? How was it good? The service good? Did they give you a good experience? Because you want the user experience to be solid, right?
Of course, yeah, that's a huge part of it.
It also breaks down their wall.
Yes. So you start with a little more simple questions. Bring their guard down a little bit, that you're just getting a little feedback on the event. So yeah, starting with, how is the restaurant? How is the food? Did you enjoy yourself? Yep. Once they're engaged and they're giving you their yes and no answers, then we kind of stepped it up with the information that we really, really wanted.
Yeah. I mean, what was it about the advertisement that made you want to come to the event?
Which is important.
Did you like the speaker? Did you like the topics covered? What made you decide to book? Or what was it that made you decide to not book? And if that was the case, what could the speaker have covered to where you would have wanted to book an appointment for you and your family?
And those were the clinchers. That was the information that we were really driving for. And, we kind of talked about earlier, stepping out of your box, doing something different. And that was actually a great thing that we did. We wung it. We said, hey, let's give this a whirl. It's not going to hurt to reach out to these people. And we gleaned some amazing information from doing these surveys.
And the information was right in our face. And it was, I think for both of Cassie and myself, we were shocked, because what we realized was they liked us. They liked the firm. They knew I knew my stuff, right? The presentation was amazing. It's just the topic wasn't what they were interested in.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
I was talking about estate and legacy planning, and it was an incredible seminar where I looked like literally the smartest person in the entire world.
So you thought.
In my mind. Never believe your own press. But the reality of it is it wasn't hitting anyone between the eyes because the market volatility at the time was extremely high and they were scared about having enough money for themselves.
Yeah, that was our only concern. And we asked them and they said, yes, I would love to be able to pass money on to my heirs. But right now, I don't really care about that. I need to know that I'm secure, that my retirement is secure, and that we can live the way that we want to. And we weren't really addressing that within this specific presentation. And because our topic was off, it showed.
Oh yeah. I mean, it showed our numbers. Our numbers were extremely poor.
Yeah.
And so the next seminar we did, we gave them the option of which one they want to talk about. They said they want to talk about current market volatility. And we went back to booking 80-90% appointments from that type of scenario. So the reason why that's important and kind of the reason why I went through this whole thing was that's the difference between catalyst versus cultivation. Because now that we knew what was on their minds, now that we knew what they were concerned about and what they were looking for more information on, we were able to reconnect with them based upon their newfound goals, newfound objectives.
Or their pain point. What were they really concerned about?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Then they're interested and they say, yes, I need help on this specific thing. You show yourself that you do know what's going on and you can provide that support, the service, the help. And yeah, like you said, it completely changed everything.
Wouldn't it be amazing?
Just by learning that little bit of information.
Wouldn't it be amazing if there was a software out there that allowed you to reconnect with those people on those topics, and an FMO like Motivate Advisors would have built it out so it was turnkey and you could just plug and play?
Is that a little slide in?
See how I did that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think so. But
it would be amazing, and trust me, guys, it is. We use a system that we developed called Automate. Automate's a system that we built for advisors that is built 100% with you in mind, your practices in mind, knowing what we know about living and dying in this business. And it's turnkey. It's ready to rock. And it's very, very, very powerful way of doing all these different marketing campaigns and being in front of your clients at a very, 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 very reasonable price point.
Well, and I think it's important we go back to, you have to have the catalyst. This is how you're going to get in front of new people. So back in my days before finance,
in my day,
when I was a young little gal,
when I was going up the hill both ways to school in the snow.
I've lived in Florida my whole life, so to be packing up the beach or something.
Well, I'm from Minnesota. We
sweating.
froze. We froze.
Yeah.
We used to go to the bus stop and our hair would freeze. Probably why I'm bald as hell right now.
I live in flip-flops, so you can't put some shoes on me.
Yeah. Well,
That's true.
I got a funny story, but I'll tell you later.
Anyways, I digress. Now you made me lose my train of thought. So you're building your prospect list with your catalyst initiatives. And then when you cultivate, you're using this information to gather more appointments, more leads, what have you. So in marketing, 80% of people do not move forward on the first touch point. So you have 20% of the people that are going to
it's higher than that. It's higher than that. It's 80% of all closes take 5 to 12 touches. It was 1% of all people close the first touch point, isn't it?
No, 1% of people, business owners, do not follow up with anybody.
That's 40% of people that don't follow up.
Now I'm just feeling old and you're making me forget my steps. Either way, guys.
It's almost half the people that don't follow up with anybody after the first time.
However, this is correct. It does take 5 to 12 touch points to be able to have someone really be comfortable and move forward with you. Now, if the majority of people are just doing a catalyst, that is one touch point. You're missing out on a lot of business by not having that 5 to 12. And don't get me wrong, I do not want you to pick up the phone 5 to 12 times and call someone. That's ridiculous. No one has the time for it, and you're going to annoy the crap out of people.
And you can't afford to send 12 different mailers either to the same people.
Exactly.
Because now you just ate away at your whole ROI.
Yep. So that's when you work with someone who has realized this and been able to implement the technology, the services, the processes to really hand deliver those 5 to 12 touch points for you so that you're, again, cultivating that business.
Oh, no, that's not the one I was looking for. I was not the one I was looking for. I was looking for this one. Nope, that's not the one I was looking for either. I don't even know. I can't find it.
All right. Just leave it be. Now you're laughing at me.
No, they're supposed to clap. This one. That's the one I was looking for. I got to put labels on these things.
5 times a try.
Well, not gonna. Yeah. It is what it is. Anywho,
Leave it alone.
I just destroyed the whole podcast. No, you're 100% right. It's a very important thing to know where your clients are, but to know timing's everything. So if you're one small thing you can hopefully take from this show, and we're almost at 50 minutes now, so we'll be wrapping it up here in a bit, but one small thing you can take from this show, if anything, is just to make yourself a little bit better by following up once.
Yes.
If you follow up one, I mean, that's crazy. You follow up one time, you're doing better than almost half of your peers.
It's true.
If you're not following up and someone else is, more than likely you're going to lose them. Mm-hmm. Cassie said it earlier. If we're in the middle of a pandemic and you're not talking to your clients, guess what? Someone else is. And I know this because I'm reaching out to people all the time. Mm-hmm. It might even be me, right? You need to make sure that you're taking care of what you have and you're able to also go and harvest that and also go out and find new potential prospects on a consistent basis. And you want all these things working together. We dove in quite a bit on Catalyst. I know we're going to run out of time to get to the cultivation aspect, but we'll do that in the next show. We'll talk more and more about cultivation. We'll break them down
a little bit easier.
Yeah, and we'll kind of go through some of the different techniques that you can use. Mm-hmm. And we'll go through that. But make sure you do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel. Make sure you put this in your podcast deal. Listen to it every time. We plan on putting these things out about once a week, if not even more frequently. If we see enough people that like it, we'll keep doing it frequently. You can always go to our YouTube channel. You can go to Spotify. We're on Podcast Addict. We're going to be all over the place, but we want to make sure that if this is something you're interested in, let us know. Also, feel free to send us an email. Mm-hmm. You can send an email to Cassie@motivateadvisors.com. Is there another one you prefer?
Nope, that's good. So, guys, it's CASSIE@MOTIV, the number 8, advisors, ADVISORS.com.
Yeah, and we want to bring value to you guys. So whatever you feel is going to be important and that you want to learn more about to help take your business to the next level, call us.
Yeah, we would love to have, some input. What are you guys struggling with? What do you want us to chat about?
Yeah, I've made some very expensive mistakes. And so if there's anything I can do to help you guys protect yourself and help with the learning curve, I want to do that. I love this type of stuff. I want to be able to help people. And I think this is we are in the greatest business in the entire world. There's tremendous amounts of opportunity of things that we can do to really grow you and help you become more and more successful the way that you want to. And really the whole premise of this thing is to take people and level up with them.
Yeah, and to help them. And we kind of mentioned earlier, I think the best piece of advice you can get is from someone who's living it. And we do that every day. We do it on the FMO side, we do it on the RA side, and we do it on the personal practice side as well. So when we're talking about stuff, it's not because we read something and we're spitting it back to you. Everything we talk about is from real world experience. And we're happy and excited to be able to share that.
Yeah, I love it. So if you ever want to continue listening, let us know. If you have any questions, give us a call too, 877-7-MOTIVATE. We can also, if you want to, if you're ever watching this live, we could always put this thing on live and we can bring calls in.
Yeah, do a little pop-up. Yeah, you guys can find us on Facebook too. It's just Motivate Advisors.
MOTIV, the number 8 advisors. So we appreciate everybody jumping on. We look forward to talking with you all next time.
You're going to the soundboard again?
I'm back to the board, baby.
Awesome.
Yeah, we thank you all so much for jumping out.
Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Cassie, do you know how to make water holy?
Don't do it.
You boil the hell out of it. Until next time, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Michael Terrio. I'm speaking on behalf of Cassie Adafaro. This has been Motivate You. We look forward to talking to everybody soon. Take care. Be safe and good luck.